And we've got Boots in Blindside, ladies and gentlemen. Boots in Blind.
I also think we're actually live now. All of the amazing commentary that just went on for the last 3 minutes, and unfortunately, all of our chat followers missed it. So, hi, I'm Jex Reffy. This is Dr. Bob Tastic, and we just got a moon pearl in the tavern.
Orb. Wait, wrong game. Okay, so we have a moon pearl, we have boots, we have a glove, and Eykir seems to be heading up to go clean out the bombs or the bomb lock spots after that dive into the other locations. Some more boots. And of course there's bombs in the back of the well.
I mean, because the game has, decided that was the best thing to do.
Yep. And another 300 in the back of Blind's Hut, so we're, Zora's in logic, and you also have the money for it.
And with the boots and the moon pearl, setting up the water walk would make it very fast to get up there.
Ooh, yeah. With boots and moon pearl, you could totally set up for the secondary fake flipper situation, or the second water walk, right?
Mm-hmm.
So you could do both of them and actually get the item on the Zora ledge as well if you really wanted to.
It's a big 20 on the library ledge. And blue mail at the race game that Hulo's gonna say, I'm good, I don't need it.
Aha. And I just learned that J is pronounced as an H. Anyway. But yeah, I would definitely pick up that blue mail because I am what you'd call a scrub. Alright, piece of heart in the Bonk Rocks situation. And Eykir is going to go pick that up despite not being a scrub.
Of course, uses the boots to save a bomb trying to go through there, as Jullo does for the back of escape. Piece of chivalry, Titan's mitts, so we got Dark World access and the small key.
And Julloninja is going to head to the Dark Cross room in the dark, so yeah, everybody try your best to figure out what's going on here. But yeah, it looks like Jullo did manage to get the key. And Eykir following suit here, gonna go ahead and check Bonk Rocks as well. We'll probably see him do back of escape as well.
Just a big 20 in the Dark Cross. And of course, bombs are at Link's house. So you could have saved all that time trying to get bombs by just starting at Link's house.
Yeah, but that would involve starting at Link's house. Anyway. So Julloninja headed to the good old dam here. Unfortunately, no way to do this in one trip without the hookshot or mirror. But we are going to see 2 items here, and then potentially, or more than likely, the next move would be to head over to the mini Moldorm cave, and that was a cape.
That was a cape. And a master
sword.
And flippers at the shovel spot.
Oh, okay. Interesting.
Now, we know that there's nothing at the lumberjack ledge, but you could still need to do Aga. Well, no, now that you got flippers, you can get the pod. So the only reason why you would need Aga at this point is for Pyramid Fairy.
Pyramid Fairy. Yeah. Or hammer behind Pyramid Fairy. And of course, if you have the mirror and some other shenanigans, you can get around that. Speaking of shenanigans, we found ourselves a hookshot.
Very nice. Alright. So this will be King's Tomb for Julloninja.
It seems like a reasonable play here. Now, if I were these runners, I'd be strongly considering a sequence break up for Death Mountain at this point.
Yeah, I would concur with that. You've got the means to do everything but Hera. You can also get into the Dark Death Mountain side and get the 6 items there. Like, there's just a boatload of stuff waiting there if you just don't bother with the logic.
And I didn't mention this earlier, but also inside Mini Moldorm Cave was the mushroom. So another little fetch quest there that'll unlock something for us. You are not wrong. Every time you get this much this early, the seed goes super dry super quick.
That's usually how Rando works.
Ice Rod Cave, just 5 rupees, so nothing really important there. And as we expected, Julloninja is taking that sequence break up Death Mountain. While Eykir is going to farm some money here, because looks like the Zora play may be on his mind.
That would make sense. And Peace Heart from the old man. Eykir is still farming rupees. Just one more to go. And he'll have enough.
All right.
There's single green rupee on Spectacle Rock. Inside is Peace Heart.
Yeah, so nothing particularly useful up there, but you do kind of want to check that when you don't have the mirror before heading up there. And when you don't have the hammer and stuff, just because there will be no guarantee you'll be able to get over there any other way.
Unfortunately, took a death. And so did not get to do Zora. And that cash will remain unused. Or
I mean, for a bit.
Yeah.
I think he's probably headed back now.
All right, I forgot. Since he's got the real flippers, he's just going to do it ye old-fashioned way.
Yeah, if it was fake flippers, yeah, I'd probably take a little bit of time and not do that again. But since we got real flippers, it seems pretty reasonable. Half magic in Paradox Cave. I'm always a fan of that. Another big heart. So Paradox Cave, lots of items, not a lot of progression.
Nope. Useful stuff, just not progression. Alright, we got another vanilla piece of heart on the floating island. And now Eykir's gonna make his way to the Zora area.
A cane of Samaria and 20 rupees as well. It's pretty nice, right?
Alright, so Hulo's now gonna make his way to Dark Death Mountain. Let's see if he's not doing a map check yet. He's just going for Super Bunny Cave.
Alright, Zora, the ripoff artist himself. What do we have today? Just a piece of heart.
But when you only have 4 hearts, you still pick that up.
Yeah, I mean, you're not wrong.
Ooh, Fire Rod!
Ooh. Okay, Fire Rod in Super Bunny Cave. Now, keeping in mind this is technically out of logic again because of the whole lack of lamp situation, but... And there's our map check. We've got pendants at Pod and Thieves Town with a green pendant at Skull Woods, and finally Misery Mire, I believe, was our 5/6 crystal.
Yep, and Ether is the medallion we'll need for Turtle Rock. And so now we're gonna see Hookshot Cave. Meanwhile, Eykir's gonna go turn in the mushroom. And the Fire Rod was really the only useful thing.
Yep, so it could be quite a bit before that lamp actually comes into play and you need it. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. Because really, with Skullwoods being a green pendant, you have to think until you find the lamp that trying to do the play on Mothula really wouldn't be all that advisable. And
Right,
until you find Bombos, you know, that would keep Ice Palace out of play.
All right, so Eykir's heading into Uncle Time. And he is going to go ahead and head to the front of Escape.
Jullo, meanwhile, starting at the back of Skullwoods. See if he actually decides to full clear this.
I mean, you might. I mean, it's green pendant. It's 2 additional items. It's not the worst idea.
I mean, the interesting thing right now is... So...
It's just you're betting on how likely is it that the one thing you're missing in logic is the lamp, and it was available, and now everything's behind that fire rod. You know what I mean?
Yeah, exactly. Because I mean, but the weird thing about this on Jullo's side is that even with this, like, pendant dungeons are really the only ones you can clear, and even then, like, you don't have the hammer to do Thieves Town Big Chest. Pod and Eastern, you can do Pod's the other pendant. But you're waiting on Bow and Hammer and Lamp. You know, Eastern's available. Like, it's not. The Seed has kind of given us a lot of stuff to do in the overworld, but hasn't really kind of given us an indication of where in the dungeons they want us to. Words go.
So, for the discussion happening in chat right now about 16 bits and 32 bits, yeah, the SNES was a 16-bit version of the Motorola 6502 processor. That it was the exact same processor that was used in the original NES, just a little bit souped up and some, like, it's the same architecture, just longer words and a little more powerful.
Mm-hmm.
Because I'm a huge nerd. Can you tell? Anyway.
I mean, if I wasn't a software developer, I would say you're speaking my language. But again, I'm a software developer. Also, Julloninja's taking care of Mothula right now.
Mm-hmm.
And mirrored Sahasrara.
Uh-huh. As well as a bottle with bees.
Oh no, the bees.
All right, so Eykir gonna take that bottle and put it to good use real quick. And I actually looked away for half a second, didn't see it, but
it wasn't anything important.
That important.
Nope. Eykir's now going to head to Skullwoods too. He's not been up to Death Mountain, so he hasn't gotten the fire rod there, but based on what our tracker is saying, I don't think we saw any items in the front, or any items in the back, so he'll still be able to get both items think we've seen bombs. I don't think... Well, okay, I know the big key was in the back. And it looks like the second item's in the big chest, so Eykir won't be able to get that.
Yeah, not from here.
And,
no!
yeah, that's kind of important. Well, I say that, and then the scene I commentated yesterday was, well, just go back and watch the Jamie Jet fight. That's all I'm gonna say.
Yeah, well, it is definitely a required flute for this particular seed, as Misery Mire is a crystal dungeon.
And
that's Ether, which is required for Turtle Rock. And Julloninja knows that, so can put the cape to good use here. So for once, the cape is not here to bait you to Aga, but to actually get you the item you need. What an amazing concept.
So wonderful. Now, to be fair, the cape... Well, you have the Master Sword, but still. Aga still is on life support because of 5-6 crystals. And with, you know... Well, okay, so the interesting thing logically, though, is... Fire Rod was needed to get the flute, which means Lamp is how you get up to Death Mountain.
That is true. That is absolutely true. So the game is going to expect you to find the lamp before you do that. Now, given what I'm seeing here, it's almost certainly, and by almost certainly I mean not really, but I'm going to say it's almost certainly the first chest in Swamp Palace.
Things have been known to be there. Especially when you don't have the hammer to get there quickly. Eykir is also going to go ahead and get Ether, which, you know, at this point, since he hasn't seen either of them, it makes sense that he would do that. And Jullo's going to go into Thieves Town.
I mean, the thing is, if you have a problem with all of the seeds that you've been seeing recently in the ALTTPR League, then you know exactly who to blame. His name is Synac, and he wrote the bot. Alright, we got a shield in Thieves Town for Julloninja, so that's always fun. And the Quack Medallion, located there in the Graveyard Ledge. So that's a little bit of an advantage for Eykir because of that mirror.
And I'm pretty sure I'm trying to remember I know for certain it was 2, but I'm trying to think if it was actually 3 items we saw in Thieves Town. Which is why Jullo decides to back out.
Yeah, all I saw was the big key and that shield, so couldn't tell you. But Julloninja did end up getting a mail upgrade there in the brewery. So will not be on green mail the entire time. Eykir is about to activate coward mode, which I only say coward mode because that's what the uncle says occasionally during standard mode. He says red mail is for cowards. And I'm like, yeah, in that case, call me a coward.
Not gonna argue with you there.
I would definitely take it.
Alright, Jullo, I think, is going for Jeremiah here. Yep. And so he'll unfortunately not be able to do South Grove, but can still do Hype Cave and Stumpy.
Alright, Stumpy's got just some bombs. The fire rod was in Super Bunny Cave. And Julloninja went ahead and sequence broke Death Mountain that way. To get it done.
And then the flute was in the Skullwood's big chest with the big key behind Mafia, I think, actually.
Or at least in the back.
Yeah, it was in the back. There's another shield. There's bacon. And powder. And hammer.
Okay, so that is... I'm going to say 10 out of 10.
That is an actual hype cave for once.
And I can confirm that there were, in fact, 3 items in the front of Thieves' Town.
Okay.
Wait, really? Wow, yeah. Well, I mean, it depends on what the Meyer medallion is. But, yeah, we're only missing the bow. Outside of that.
Yeah, I can't disagree with that. Now, Jullo still has to find Flippers and Mirror.
Right. It's, you know, collective go mode, or no mode, as some people like to call it. As in, we'll know where everything is, and then we just gotta kind of, you know, hope our runners don't get imminently trolled everywhere.
Jullo's gonna use that powder to go check Magic Bat. Just Piece of Heart.
It's the curse of a broken heart. It plagues us all.
And now Jullo's just doing all the fetch quests. Gonna get the mushroom done also. I don't think there was nothing there that I remember.
Yeah, it was 300 rupees, I believe. Yeah. And just a piece of heart on the purple chest, but Eykir's about to go to the hypest cave I've seen in weeks.
You think he does Swamp after this?
Does he do Swamp after this? Maybe. I mean, it's not the worst idea, given the fact that you could clear it. Though I would be tempted to just, by default, skip left side.
Jullo's about to get his Flippers. Does a swag dash, or dig dash, words hard.
Eykir's walking out of Hype Cave, which could indicate a inclination to head to Swamp, or he might decide to go to Pyramid with that hammer.
Well, he's going to Swamp.
Figuring out which way he's going to go. Looks like the Swamp play is live. There is more than 2 swords in this game. What an amazing concept, I know. I mean, let's be fair, that's the kind of move I would do too. Where I get that hammer, I'm like, oh, I can do swamp now. Let me go to the dark world real quick. Oh wait, I'm already there. That's the sort of thing I'd do. Okay. Speaking of annoying dungeons.
Ice Palace. Very interesting.
This is certainly interesting from both runners. We got ice on the left, swamp on the right, and only really the bow missing that we know of.
Now this is still sequence broken because Fire Rod, Lamp, that whole situation, which means we're not going to find Lamp on ice.
Yeah,
unless
the lamp could absolutely be in Swamp Palace.
Well, here's the thing. It could be an ice, but then that would mean Bombos was required to go get it.
Right. And so that would just delay the logic loop. Bow in each would be interesting. I mean, I don't think either of these is a bad play to make, given what they have, you know?
No, I don't disagree. I think it would be interesting because I think wasn't Mirror at Waterfall of Wishing, or was it somewhere else?
Mirror was in Sahasrah's closet.
Oh, right.
And speaking of mirror, we just found the mirror shield in Swamp Palace. So there we go. Jullo having a little bit trouble with the Ice Palace bomb jump, but gets it on that try. And Eykir is going to go ahead and clear out the left side, it looks like, of Swamp.
Which, for him, I would say makes sense, because you're still looking...
Yeah, it doesn't have Fire Rod, doesn't have Bow, and doesn't have Flute, so still missing 3 items in where he's sitting.
Yeah, it makes sense. So we got Eykir about to check left side of Swamp. Jullo's on the right side of Ice Palace. So, big key and compass. And a big 20.
Alright, so the big key on the left side of Swamp, and Eykir going for the mirror strat there. I'm not entirely certain which one is faster, to be honest.
Maybe with boots it would be a little bit faster. Both of them, you only have one. You have the one area to swim. No, well, no, you have 2 because you're starting from the front. But anywho, big key just has a compass.
So yeah, left side Swamp turning out to be actual Garbo.
As is usually wont to be. And Ice Palace not coming up with anything.
Another bombs. There's that lamp.
All
I
right.
figured the lamp was going to be in swamp. I didn't think it would be this deep, but there you go.
And Hulo's got cold stare down. Alright, so basically, you get all the stuff to get into Swamp Palace, go get the lamp, take a trip up Death Mountain, get the fire rod. That leads you to then the flute and the Skullwood's big chest. Very interesting.
Now, here's a pretty interesting possibility. If Eykir does that, goes up to Death Mountain like you're suggesting, he can actually complete Turtle Rock.
Yeah, that's a thing. That is certainly a thing right now.
And also Tower of Hera, which, Julloninja was actually unable to get to either, as before. So there you go. Speaking of getting access to swamp in those areas, Julloninja is about to access the mirror.
Yep. And we saw $300 from the green pendant, so basically you only needed Skullwoods for flute. Alright, and we're gonna get some important information here. What is the medallion for Meyer? It is Quake.
Okay, so that is something that Eykir has a hold of, but it is in the Graveyard Ledge, which is particularly nasty for Julloninja because that mirror came so late, and you really just don't want to go there when it's orphaned like it is. He did just pick up the Bombos medallion, although that isn't entirely useless. There's the bow on the pyramid for Eykir. That is very, very nice.
That is also no mode, I believe.
Yep. We can absolutely do that.
Alright, so you have to think Hulo is doing Desert. He's probably going to combo Desert and... wait. He doesn't have the cane yet? Oh, wait. Wasn't the... Oh, cane... I think cane was the Waterfall of Wishing item I got messed up on. Yeah, it was. So he can't do Meyer right now. Meanwhile, Eykir was about to go into Pod, and then remember, Pod's dependent. So just think fourth dimensionally and make your way into the right dungeon.
Aha. I was like, wait, are we time traveling?
I don't know. I'm just, it's whatever. It's an extra dimension in terms of, I don't know,
yeah,
trying to be...
It would be a fourth dimension. That's for sure. So yeah, turns out there is such a thing as a fast seed in this game. I was not aware that this was a thing anymore.
Now the key thing is you got to get the rest of the items.
Right, so Eykir will have to head to... the real problem for Eykir is going to be Skull Woods, because he's got to go there and get the flute. And he's going to probably full clear Death Mountain looking for it. And there's a chance he'll even go into Pod looking for it here.
Yeah. Because Eykir you would think when he goes up the mountain, he's going to end up full clearing it, because once he gets Fire Rod, I mean, you're right there. You might as well do Turtle Rock. Jullo, once he finishes Desert Lambo here, it'd be interesting to see what he does, because right now, he needs to get Kane from Waterfall of Wishing before he can do Turtle Rock, and then really all he can do on the mountain is Hera. Which, I mean, it's a crystal dungeon, you gotta do it, but you would kind of almost want to save it if you can.
Yeah, but his real problem is getting to Graveyard Ledge, which is a, shall we say, really unlikely spot to go to. So while this seed could go fast in theory, it seems unlikely that either of our runners is going to reach their go mode item particularly quick.
Yep. Jullo's gonna go check Agina Cave. Eykir's on his way to Armos Knights. Caribbean wants to know, wait, Pendant Pod doesn't have progression this time? What kind of radio seed is this?
I'm going to say an uncommon one. Yeah, we don't know where the other bow is.
And this is probably the swamp play for Jullo.
At least Jullo will be able to figure out the whole logic situation.
Or he'll make a fool of me and not go to swamp. That works too.
Oh, well, he's headed toward Cave 45. That could mean he's inclined to go to Graveyard Ledge. But who knows? Maybe this is just a quick check over here before heading into swamp.
Well, the one thing he could possibly be doing is he did not have Mirror when he did Jeremiah.
Yeah. So he could be going to pick up like Purple Chest and things like that, but it does look like he's turning around and heading back to swamp.
And Eykir is heading into pod.
All right. Yeah, so it's all over. Phoenix Wright is going to lose. I love it. I mean, you're not wrong.
Alright, so we know Lamp is just in the back of back of Swamp Palace. Eykir's showing us pod, but realistically, like, unless we got silvers in here, we're gonna find anything of much importance. Like, maybe if he found the book, which would lead him to desert, but we didn't see anything in desert either.
Yeah, basically anything, if we find any useful or interesting items in here, it's just going to lead our runners to the wrong place. I mean, basically you could find Butter Sword or something, which might be useful. Or silvers.
Or more hearts. I mean, they're only at 8 hearts right now.
Yeah. On Red Mail, that's pretty doable, but I can understand an apprehension with that. Oh yeah, he's got to go back to Skullwoods, because I forgot he did actually clear out the front of Skullwoods. And we do see that Jullo is going to go ahead and clear left side as well. So going to waste a bunch of time over there. What are you going to do?
Since we've got a pair of elite time wasters, let's just take a minute and say, please be sure to give Julloninja and Eykir follows on Twitch for the race that they're providing for us, even though there is a little bit of time wasting going on right now.
Yeah, I mean, the thing is, you can't look at any of these plays and think that they are wrong plays, like in the generic sense. Like, they're wrong for this seed, but, you know, given any arbitrary seed, these are probably fine.
Yeah, I totally concur with that. It just happens that neither of these plays are really going to work out, because, like, Jullo will find the lamp, but, I mean, Jullo's a top runner to where we know he won't need it.
So yeah, there's one thing that I've always been taught on games that involve any sort of variance, and that is the fact that all you can do is make the best play that you can given the information you have. And if you do that and you still don't succeed, you still did the best you could on that, and you cannot be results oriented about it. I mean, you can, but you're wrong if you do that. It does look like Eykir is going to go ahead and finish out Pod. I mean, the fact that Helmasaur definitely has an item, you can't really fault him for that. And of course, given the fact that the flute and, you know, like the fire rod or whatever are the main things he's looking for, those could easily, well, not the fire rod, but the flute could definitely, from his perspective, be on the pedestal.
Just happens today, we know it's not.
There's a chance. I don't remember if the big key was in the chest in the back or on Mothula, but there's a chance that we'll see Eykir actually pull the pedestal before going to the flute.
That would require him to finish Thieves Town.
Yep.
And there were 3 items in the front. So really, you're kind of playing the... You would be going for the 4th item in the pendant, and then finish Skullwoods to pull a pedestal.
I mean, that kind of feels like how I would route it, given the fact that I'm doing all these double dips at this point.
Yeah, the more I think about it, the more that would make sense.
I'm not saying it'd be good, I'm just saying it'd be funny if he ended up pulling the pedestal.
Alright, Jullo's done with Swamp. As Eykir is finishing off Helmasaur. Get some bombs. And a pendant.
Alright, Julloninja heading to check the bottle situation. Yeah, I believe there was a bottle in Sahasral's closet. That's where he probably got that. And he's gonna turn, or no, he's gonna go purchase a potion.
Ice Palace.
I mean, he finished ice, right?
Oh, yeah. So, Turtle Rock? No. Here's his Eastern and Pod play.
Yeah, it's gonna be a bit of a, problematic Eastern and Pod play because he does not have the bow to finish them. Eykir is going to go up the mountain. He's going to get a fire rod. And, through all of this, he'll get the fire rod, and that's basically it up here on the mountain. Ah, right. He bought the potion so that he could potion glitch pod. That makes plenty of sense.
Oh yeah, because he doesn't have the bow from the pyramid ledge. Whoops. Sorry.
You have to figure he gets out of pod in Eastern, and then he starts running back, goes to the pyramid immediately after their words, and then he, applies the Bombos medallion. Yeah, like you do with the whole randomizer thing. Yep, Hulo needs the Quake medallion, which, as we said, was in the graveyard ledge, which is a super out of the way location that he's going to last location almost assuredly. And Eykir is probably going to last location the flute as well, so good job, Seed. Good job. Yeah,
Alright.
Eykir just grabbed the fire rod here and went to Skull Woods immediately to get the flute. That would do it. But Skull Woods is a pendant, and so he's probably going to beat Turtle Rock and Hera before even heading that direction.
We will see what he decides to do. So I'm gonna check floating island. Didn't find anything. And now we're gonna see that ether is what is needed for Turtle Rock. Hookshot Cave is not going to come up with much, and so the big question really at this point is, does Eykir decide to do the 2 dungeons up here, or does he go off the mountain after this? Oh! Accidentally fell off before he got that last chest. So he's going to have to do that again. And I gotta believe that's heading for Hera. For Eykir. Alright, so does that to check Spectral Rock, and now he is going to go ahead for Hera. Julloninja is forced out of pod. And the way he's walking, he's about to get a very unfortunate piece of information for him. Alright, Eykir gets big key and a piece of heart. Gonna go ahead and head up to the top of Hera. And Julloninja has his bow. And long time to check Uncle Tunnel, but it's finally getting around to it.
As we know, the uncle's not going to lead you to much here. Like, the one saving grace for Julloninja is that I can sort of see a route that could put all of his go mode items in his path. He could go to Pyramid and then like head up to Catfish.
He's already been to Pyramid.
Oh, okay, so we got the bow. Sorry about that.
But to play off of what you're saying, I mean, he mirrored from the Pyramid to do the front of Escape. So maybe the way the routing would work out for him is if he were to finish the front, then take the portal, go check Catfish, and then do Zora area. That might be the play that kind of gets him on track as Eykir.
Though he might, there is that possibility that on the way to Catfish, she's like, oh, I kind of orphaned the graveyard ledge, so let me check that real quick. If he does that, he's going to be in good shape.
But that's got to be a very specific play for him. Meanwhile, Eykir is opening up Turtle Rock, and most likely, yep, he's heading in, and we'll full clear that as well. Which, I mean, it's Turtle Rock. It's one of those dungeons that you end up full clearing most of the time anyway. And unfortunately, Jullo is pulling out his flute as opposed to going to his portal.
That is a bit unfortunate.
Yep, he's heading back to Eastern, which also makes... Well, he's going to probably finish Pod and then do Eastern as well. Although maybe he does Graveyard Ledge and Catfish after Eastern and Pod. But an hour in, Julloninja needs to go get the Quake Medallion at the Graveyard Ledge, Cane of Samaria at Waterfall of Wishing. Eykir needs to go back to Skullwoods and get the flute out of the big chest, which requires the big key in the back.
So yeah, it's all a question of when do our runners reach those locations that they sort of orphaned.
Yeah. Because Eykir has to do desert. You can imagine he does that soon. He also has to do ice. So imagine he probably does those 2 dungeons first. And then it's really kind of a question of, you know, what to do from there.
Yeah, luckily for Eykir, at the moment he can't actually get into desert. Right now, the flute would be his only way to get in, and he's got to get that first, so. Now, yes, of course, if the book turns out to be here in Turtle Rock, then you're, then that desert play becomes a real possibility.
Yeah, I kind of forgot about that.
So if you're a fan of Eykir here, you're going to hope that the book is in Ganon's Tower.
Alright, Jullo has Helmet Star down. Now Mimic Cave check for Eykir.
So the book could lead him astray, but it could also help him if he decides to use it to go check the pedestal and get the last item while he's at it, too.
True. One thing's for certain. This race really hinges on who makes the right play at this point.
So yeah, I know it's... Hey, silver arrows!
That's interesting.
That does mean that Julloninja could have avoided the pyramid entirely. If we wanted to. Yeah, some people do like to skip the big chest of Turtle Rock if possible, though we do have the big key in the vanilla location, I believe. So I don't like to skip the big chest in that situation just because you could get really locked out.
So what's the... So I know there's the whole thing about skipping the big chest in terms of trying to get the key. What's actually the logic behind when you would take the gamble to try to skip the big chest?
So you would skip the big chest when you're stealing the key from the Pokey, because that way there's guaranteed to be at least one key among the rest of the items there, and unless the only way that play can mess you up is if the vanilla big key chest is a small key and the big chest is a small key.
I see.
Alright, so we're going to get a Trinex fight coming up here from Eykir.
Tempered Sword will make it pretty easy. Just 5 slashes at each of the 2 heads and then take on the main one. Spin in 3 slashes and Trinex is down.
All right, big 20 on Trinex. Again, we are not really concerned about any items at this point.
Realistically, at this point, we're just waiting on them to go to, for Julloninja, 2 specific locations, which are Graveyard Ledge and Waterfall of Wishing. For Eykir, it's 1, it's a Skullwood's Big Chest.
And a very nice Armos kill from Julloninja, getting that quick kill set up.
Alright, so Jullo walking definitely means he's gonna turn north. Question's
So
gonna
the catfish play might be a thing, and he might decide to go to that Graveyard Ledge, but it's a real difficult decision.
Yep. Eykir, I think rather predictably, is heading for Ice Palace at this point. Alright, Jullo. He's going for catfish.
Yep.
So that will
If he
mean
goes
he'll get
catfish and then he mirrors, he'll find the Cane of Samaria. And at that point, I think it's unlikely that he returns to the Dark World to check Graveyard Ledge.
Yeah, because he still has to do Zora.
And the Cane very well could direct him up to Turtle Rock, so he'll spend a bunch of time clearing out Turtle Rock.
Which in some ways, given the layout, kind of was going to have to be done anyway. But Jullo does get the cane, throws a bottle in, and gets a fairy. And yep, predictably heading for Zora.
Now, once Eykir finishes out Ice Palace, he doesn't have much left. So, I mean, at that point, it's basically the one item in Thieves Town and Skull Woods. So it's going to be pretty close, pretty soon that Eykir will get the flute, I would think.
Because we have seen Ice Palace, and we've seen that there's nothing in it. So he won't find that book. And Jullo is going to do the 2 mountain dungeons.
I mean, that's pretty much like the sensible play. You've got 2 crystal dungeons you can do them.
Yep, I totally agree in terms of what his thinking would be at this point. It's just unfortunate, again, that it's not going to work out for him. Eykir, unfortunately, gonna check Iced Tea Room, which, based on the fact that we haven't seen any of the dungeon items, means we are not gonna need to worry about That's why Hulo ended up just going right to Cold Stare in his run. Oh, wait, he hasn't done right side yet. I forgot about that.
Yeah, so he decided to take a more traditional Ice Palace route here. I mean, the bomb jump was involved, but decided not to say bomb jump over here to skip out on Ice Tea for a short amount of time.
Alright, Troll Arm down for Hulo. Crystal number 5 for him.
So at the end of this dungeon for Eykir, Eykir will also have 5 crystals. But Julloninja will be getting his 6th pretty quick.
Actually, I think that'll only be 4, because he still has Desert Mire and Turtle Rock. Oh no, Turtle Rock's done. It's just the Turtle Rock symbol, the Trinex symbol, very misleading if you're only glancing at it.
Yeah. It doesn't quite take up the entire frame, does it?
No.
Alright, Julloninja gonna open up Turtle Rock. And we'll see what that leads to. Well, we know what it leads to. It leads to Turtle Rock. There's crystal in there.
He very early on sequence broke Death Mountain and got the Fire Rod, so that's why for him he's just basically going right to the dungeons, because that's all he's had left up here. I mean, you could also do Spike Cave, but I don't think Eykir did Spike Cave either.
Nicely keeping Cold Stare in the corner there for a bit, and Eykir taking down Ice Palace.
Very nicely done.
Alright, so it's all up to what happens next. What do we check? What in the world is running through Eykir's brain right about now?
Alright, so he starts the Sanctuary. He's heading in the right direction. Well, okay, so he's gonna check powder first, that makes sense.
Yep, Magic Bat seems to be the order of the day. Oh, man. People are so aware in this game. I really got to get my head on straight. I was just watching Julloninja there. Picks up the big key from the vanilla big chest and immediately thinks, I'm switching to bombs right now because I need them in a minute. I would realize I need to switch to bombs about when I walked into the room with the eyeballs.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I would be there with you. And Eykir's making the play. Back of Skullwoods. We'll get him the flute. As long as he remembers to check the big chest, and that will be go mode for him.
Okay. So Eykir heading to the back of Skull Woods. So do you think he heads directly for Moth, or does he go for the chest? And then if he finds the big key, does he go to Moth, or does he head to the big chest?
I think he's gonna end up doing both before going for the big chest. That just the traveling you have to do to go check the big chest. You're gonna do both.
He's going to Moth first. That's reasonable. Like, I don't think there's a correct way to do both of these in order. Like, both of them are fine. If you're going to do both, either order is fine.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and the way my brain thinks is Moth in general is just a little more likely to have an item than the rest of the dungeon, just because it can't have a small key.
Moth is down.
Yeah, but because Eykir knows that all the small keys have been found, it's back to even.
And oh
Ooh.
man. That would have been disastrous.
I was scared there for a second. But that being said, I mean, what else did he have to do? This and Thieves Town, right?
I think so. I think he's done everything else that I can think of.
So now he's going to run to the front, open the big chest, and he will be super happy. Julloninja will be finishing out Turtle Rock. I imagine the next play will probably be Spike Cave from Julloninja. Just because you're there.
Alright, Trinex down.
I think you're going for the vanilla strats to reach the big chest. The intended strats.
And 1 hour, 19 minutes, 23 seconds. Eykir is in go mode.
Oh, yeah.
And as we thought, Jullo is heading for Spike Cave.
Yep, it just seems like the logical play at this point. It's the only spot left on the mountain. You don't want to just leave it there.
Yeah, exactly. Excuse me. Oh, wait.
Oh, did he not go to, like, the basement of Hera or something?
I guess there was an item in the basement of Hera that I completely forgot about. That is rather unfortunate.
Alright, so Eykir heading to the Mire area. He's going to look at the medallion and find out that he is actually in go mode.
So into mire he goes. Yeah, as our tracker Irritable Penguin's pointing out, I mean, you can't fault it. You know, as we've kind of been alluding to, you know, with a lot of this, it's just a matter of it's just the unfortunate play. But trying to be thorough, just, you know, you don't want to be orphaning these one-off locations on the mountain, because every time you have to reclimb, it just adds more time.
Yeah, it's definitely, like, this is the objectively correct play to make, given his situation.
Mm-hmm.
Or at least the absent any other information. Hey, we found butter. It's in Spike Cave. So all the butter you can stand. I hear cholesterol is bad for you, especially if you are one of Ganon's minions.
I also hear that, or see rather, that Jullo may be making the play. And if he does this, he still has a chance. Because Eykir still has to do desert.
And Jullo is skipping out Thieves Town, headed to Graveyard Ledge. This is gonna be a race, ladies and gentlemen.
Yep. He's gonna get Quake, and he'll be in go mode in just a matter of seconds.
Oh, this is gonna be real close. Like, yeah, Eykir still has to do desert, but I mean, desert's not gonna be terribly long.
Nope.
And Eykir did just get the big key in my least favorite location to find the big key of Mystery Mire, so who knows how long it'll take Jullo to find it.
Also, correctly knowing that Quake will not damage a flying murder dactyl, so you might want to take care of him before you activate the Quake.
Yeah, good call. Eykir did, it looked like he did not set up the spooky glitch here, so he's going to go ahead and deal with these switches as he goes through. Turns out, you know, the spooky glitch looks, well, spooky and, like, really weird. Turns out it's not that hard to do.
How exactly do you do it? Because I still would like to learn it.
So, step 1 is when you flute to 6, lift the rock from the bottom.
Okay.
That will set up the correct value for the ancilla from the duck. The duck is what does that. Then, when you're in the dungeon, make sure, 1, do not use the powder. It will cancel your thing. Number 2, if you use a cane block, you want to kick up some dust with your boots or something like that first. There are a few other things that will cancel that. There's the book on Vitreous.
Wow.
Wow, that's impressive. And then so if you kick up a little dust before you drop the block, then it will retain that value. And then once you've done that, you just want to make sure that you shoot things that are underneath the switch you're trying to shoot, and make sure that the switch is actually loaded so you're close enough to it.
Yep.
So you stand pretty close to that spike and shoot it at the right location, it'll hit the switch on the top. You hit the little anti-fairies on the left side of the room, of the next room, it'll hit the switch in the next room, and so on.
Interesting.
Oh, apparently lamp also kills it. That's interesting. I did not know that.
Alright, Jullo has the big key, gonna make his way to Vitreous. Trying to remember, where was... Big key was right side, right? Of desert, I should say.
I think so, yeah.
I mean, it would have to be at this point. Alright. I would say strap yourselves in. This is going to be a very close race.
Yeah, I didn't see Jullo kicking up dust either, so I don't know if he set up Spooky either. Yeah. But he also doesn't need to hit this. Yeah, he does.
Yeah, you had to hit the switch because of where the big key was.
Alright, so Julloninja is about to reach Vitreous. Eykir is about to reach Lanmo. The only problem with Lanmo is he's got that 14-second cutscene outside of his room.
And missing the torches doesn't help either. Jullo with Butter gonna elect to do Cape Dash strats.
That is pretty solid strats right there.
And that's a Vitreous down. Eykir having a little bit of trouble getting taking care of Lammo. But that is crystal number 7. So, Dr. Bob, don't we usually do something right about now?
So I've been told that there are some number of locations in Ganon's Tower where the key likes to hide. I think it's somewhere between 22 and 22. So there's 22 different locations. And the bot here would only work if Sahasra bot serves the channel.
Oh, we can still play the game. It'll be whoever goes in first, which at this point looks like Julloninja. So we'll use his checks to see who gets the rank.
Yeah, it's $ start to start it.
Oh,
there it is.
We go. So if you got your guess in, put it in again.
So I normally do 14 because of Bob's chest. But I've started occasionally, if somebody puts in 14, I do 18 because that's Bob's chest if you go the other direction.
I just randomly make up numbers. Let's see. 5 wasn't. Oh, wait, 5 was used. How about 3? I'll go 3.
Alright. So, Julloninja about to enter Ganon's Tower.
And Eykir is just a few seconds behind him. Jullo starts left. Number one is a bottle.
I would have probably picked up the bottle because again I'm paranoid about dying. But I mean, with 14 hearts and red mail or blue mail, you're probably fine.
Okay, meanwhile, Eykir's going right. 2 sticks, 3 piece of heart. 4, there it is.
All right, big key, small key in the Stalfos room. So Eykir's going to get it pretty quick as well. So although there is going to be a fairly significant gap between these two runners, it's not an insurmountable one. Ganon's Tower, the gauntlet can, cause that amount of change between the two runners. It's still not decided just yet.
And 1UP40 was the one to correctly guess 4. So you get some points.
All right, Eykir has also started the ascent.
And the only real difference between these two is red mail and butter, which butter would mean 6 sword slashes on phase 1 and 2 for Ganon. It would be 12 for tempered, but you can still one cycle with tempered sword. So in theory, the sword difference really shouldn't make that much of a difference at this point.
Right. But the 1-in-1 cycle for tempered sword is, it's not free, right?
Mm-hmm.
It's a skill you have to have practiced and maintained, and I'm still not consistent with it, so
I'm right there with you.
that was a really solid Silver Arrows Landmo 2 from Julloninja.
And it doesn't matter how many times I watch Rando, these Dark Wizro rubes are always so satisfying to watch.
Super great, super great. Alright, torch room number 1 for Julloninja.
Eykir having a little bit of trouble with Lambo 2. Does get it.
Jullo has absolutely no interest in any other chests here. Did go ahead and kill the mini Helmasaur, which is a good call, considering you only had 1 key coming up here.
Control arm 2 down.
And we'll be crossing the gap. And we won't get to see what's in that final chest. That is perfectly fine. I don't know why anyone would think that's a problem.
I mean, it's Troll Arm's last possession. You need to be responsible and not steal things that do not belong to you.
Well, I mean, he's dead, so...
I mean
does he have a living will?
I don't know, but I'm more concerned about this geometry test at this point. So far at 3, 4, 5. Very nicely done on that double there. Just 1 more to go. And that'll do it.
Yeah, very, very nice climb from Julloninja. That is a... Yeah, if you wanted to make a statement about, am I going to win this match, that is the way to...
But it is time for the big pig. And in goes Julloninja.
Eykir going for 3 tempered slashes on Moldorm there. Hulo should easily get the 1-in-1 cycle with the gold sword. That is actually free.
And now we're just on to phase 3. Eykir gets a double on his first. I get the single there. Zaga 2 down. And Ganon finally stops teleporting. And we're on to phase 4. Gets double there. That's 3. We'll need to relight the torches. Wait for the fire bat to get out of the way. 1 more to go, and that should do it. As Eykir is into his Ganon fight, it doesn't matter because Julloninja walks through the door and finishes with an official SRL time of 1 hour, 37 minutes, and 27 seconds. GG.
Well done. Do you prefer bacon, pork, or ham?
Yes. Yes.
I mean, technically, bacon and ham are both pork, so yes.
Eykir's on to phase 3.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think anybody can be unhappy with their performance in this race, given, both runners in Ganon fight at the same time. Probably, a minute, maybe a minute and a half going to separate these two runners here in the end.
Yep, on to phase 4 for Eykir. There's 1. That'll do it for Eykir.
And GG's to both runners here in this race. That was, it was a pretty nice race to comment here on this, on the league channel here.
Yep, and Eykir does.
We may not have the world's greatest amount of followers here, but dang it all if we don't have great matches.
Yes, and Eykir finished with an official SRL time of 1 hour, 38 minutes, and 54 seconds, so GG's to both of our runners. Alright.
We'll see if we can get our two runners in to discuss the madness that was this seed. It wasn't like super madness from our perspective, but from their perspective, it's gotta be like, oh, this is so frustrating, right?
Absolutely. Well, we're still waiting on Julloninja, but
does look like Eykir joined us here. So, hello. I don't know if I'm pronouncing your name correctly.
That's close enough. It worked.
Eykir, okay. I'll take it.
You can blame me, because I was saying Eykir, so...
And it also seems like Julloninja's joined us as well. So, congratulations to both of you runners. That was super close and super exciting. I don't know if any of the chat has similar feelings, but I certainly do.
I was a little worried there at the end when the end finished yet.
I was the same because of where Quake was.
Yeah, you both kind of had one-off locations for most of the race. Like, we knew go mode between the two of you, we knew go mode fairly early on.
I think it was 38 minutes.
Yeah.
Doesn't surprise me where things ended up.
Yeah, because Julloninja went. The main route divergence between you two was Julloninja decided to sequence break up to Death Mountain, got the fire rod fairly early, and then actually cleared out Skull Woods and got the flute. But of course, that made it less likely for him to want to go over to Eastern and get that mirror, which you got a long time ago, and allowed you to check those mirror locations as well and get the Quake medallion and things like that. So yeah, that was a process, let me tell you.
I don't know why I took put off Death Mountain so long. I had a bunch of other things to do, and eventually when I found the lamp in the swamp, it's like, okay, now I can go to Death Mountain, but I also have Eastern and Pod to do. Getting on earlier.
Yeah, Eykir, I think you cleared out like all of Death Mountain in its entirety, minus Ether Tablet Spike Cave on the first trip.
It was nice to be able to do that. I also didn't do Hera basements, but yeah,
Right.
when I went up there, it's like, okay, I could do both Hera and Rock. Why not? Julloninja was just...
Now, Julloninja actually did end up clearing out Hera Basement and Spike Cave looking for that Quake medallion, because I'm sure, I don't know if you agree with me on this one, but I'm sure that, you know, Graveyard Ledge is one of those locations that it's, I mean, depending on how the seed goes, more than likely, it's going to be the last place I check almost every single seed.
Yeah, with how I ended up going, it was one of those times. I was boots and mitts early meant I couldn't, you know, do it with them and cape early. It's like, I got nothing to do this with, so it's just gonna sit there forever.
Yeah, we thought there might be a chance that you'd head up there as you were heading toward Catfish and realized I could check that, but it was I didn't think it to be terribly likely, but that's a possibility.
It would be if I wasn't, you know, sort of running out of things to do and I hadn't done
Yeah, you hadn't
waterfall
done
fairy
any
and
of
stuff.
the northeast water stuff yet. But this seed and in the beginning looked like, you know, all of a sudden we actually had a reasonable seed on our hands. And if it wasn't for those one location for both of you, and completely different locations, but it looked like it would have been, you know, a reasonable seed for once. And I've it's been so long since I've seen a seed that, you know, gave you so much so early.
I'm still laughing at my first dungeon was Swamp Palace. It says everything it gave us, and it gave us Darkhold access like in the first 10 minutes, if not less than.
Yeah, the that's also probably the best spike cave, or not spike cave, best hype cave I've seen in a long time.
Oh yeah.
Like, it had hammer powder tempered, I think, was the set of items that were in there, and they, you know, those are all things I want to see. So,
I had a fourth
oh,
item too,
ahead.
but I forget.
I can't even remember. Did it have ether?
What was the question?
That was Bumper Cave.
Oh, okay.
Bumper
Yeah,
Lake.
you're right. Trying to remember that there might have been a fourth item of interest in Hype Cave.
I think it was
Was
only
the red mail
three.
there?
It was.
Yeah,
was a male upgrade there, yeah.
Yeah, okay. That would have been... No, I think the male upgrades were Race Game and the Brewery.
That might have been brewery. I don't remember so long ago. And
Yeah. Because I know one of them was Race Game because we talked about Julloninja skipping it. Did you think even for a second about going to get it, or was it just like, nah?
I just figured I'd find something else, or just get more swords, and I don't need the defense.
Yep, best defense is a good offense. That's what they say. Anyways, yeah, this was a really, really close race, and it is a tragedy, in my opinion, that only one of you could win it.
GG,
Both runners were so solid.
GG's. At least it wasn't an unfriendly seed. It was just hope that you find the spot you miss instead of everywhere.
So many 155s here, 2 hour ones. That's nice to have a 130.
Yeah, definitely. Well, shout outs to both Eykir and Julloninja. Thank you for very close race and for entertaining us. Everyone, please be sure to give both of them follows on Twitch. For that race today, any final thoughts from either of you guys?
Not really. I just hope that continue to vary, so it's not the same old. Oh look, someone's got this item, and now they can just walk through the sea, no problem.
I think the variance in modes is going to help a little bit with that. Because at least you're going to have to know a little bit more about what's going on here.
Yeah, looking forward to next week. Ambrosia.
You guys fans of the Ambrosia type?
Good practicing. Enjoy it.
Enjoyable. I haven't practiced as much, but see if I even play next week.
If you do, good luck.
All right.
Luck to
Well, thank you once again to both of our runners, and of course, thank you to our behind-the-scenes crew. We had Math Girl on the restream, who is handling all of the fires and trying to put them out at the same time. We've got Irritable Penguin handling the tracker. Of course, my co-commentator, Jex Ruffy. Thank you so much for joining me today.
Oh, it was always a pleasure, Dr. Bob. We'll always be glad to commentate with you. And one more race today, I think, was on Speed Gaming 3. It has started. We got Marty from Missing Bow versus Blaine from Error 216, and that is on Speed Gaming 3, so please be sure to jump over there and see the conclusion of that race.
All right, so with that, I think it's about time to wrap it up, so I'll just say that I have been Dr. Bobtastic.
And I've been Jax Refby. Thank you all so much for watching. We'll see you next mission.
See you later.